We'll call the Facilities Committee meeting of the Lammersville Unified School District to order at 6:30 p.m. And move to item 2 of the agenda, which is roll call.
Stephanie Olson.
Here.
David Pombo.
Here.
Jason Dixon.
Here.
Thorsten Harrison.
Here.
Munir Udin.
Absent.
Prabjot Madan.
Here.
Ratan. Ratan ready?
So we will move to item 3, which is receiving of public comments. Is there any member of the public who wishes to make a comment at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 4A, which is facilities use minutes. Are there any corrections or questions about the minutes from the last meeting? None. So we'll move on to item B, finance report, staff report.
Director Dixon will take this part.
For denied applications. So if you look at the denied application sheet, there are quite a few denied applications.
Hang on a minute. It's finance report. I'm sorry. I was out of order. I will handle the finance report. Sorry about that. So as you can see on the finance report, we are in the black, a total of $325,310. We still have some expenses in there that we have not completed yet at Lammersville and at Costa that we allocated to those facilities that haven't been spent yet. I think I did mention last time we talked about this that the Lammersville field will probably have to go back out to bid because it's been on there for quite a while. So we'll go out to bid and that'll be a new number at some point. That concludes my report on the finances.
Thank you. Any questions about the finance report?
No questions.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Then we'll move on to item C, facility usage reports from 10/29/24 to 1/28/25.
Okay.
Staff report.
Jason Dixon will take care of this one.
Jen, can you go back to the facilities, the C part? We're on D. There we go. Thank you. Okay, the first graph that we see right here is our usage graph of the times. As you can see, about 3 o'clock is when it starts to peak, and then around 8 o'clock is when we get our highest usage, and then it starts to fall off after that to around 10 o'clock. Next slide, please. Altamont is our first school here. So as you can see, the multipurpose room is getting the most use right now, but most of that is LUSD organizations and the rest is third party. Bethany, same way. Right now it's time for the multipurpose room. The other outside groups are using the outside fields the most on Bethany. All right, Cordis, again, the NPR is the biggest use by LUSD, and then other outside groups there. And then outside courts, such as basketball, they're being used by third parties or the community as well. Costa, again, NPR for LUSD organizations mainly, and then outside being used by outside organizations. Hanson's a little more even, got NPR usage for LUSD, but also have outside groups using almost about the same amount of time NPR. Outside, again, on the baseball field, you can see that the outside groups are using it only. Lammersville, the only thing we're really using there is the multipurpose room, and again, mostly for LUSD organizations. Cuesta, again, the NPR getting the most use by the LUSD organizations, and then the outside areas are being used by the community. Wickland, the outside being used mainly by the sports organizations, and then the NPR again being used by LUSD and classrooms as well for after-school activities. And then Mountain House is a mix, the gyms being the main areas being used, theater. Most of the areas are being used by LUSD organizations, but you can see we do have some smaller outside organizations using them as well. And then our PDC, we do not rent that out to outside organizations. It is all LUSD use on that.
Okay. Any questions?
Questions.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 4C, denied applications, staff report.
So on the denied applications, you'll see this a lot with a lot of denied applications during the time that we open. So we recently opened civic permits. And 90% of that, what is happening is tier groups 2 and 3 are signing up on the wrong day. So they're signing up on the first day or attempting to, and we have to deny that application. And then they go back in and reapply on the day they're supposed to, and then they get their area. So most of these groups have gotten what they wanted. They just had to wait till the proper day to sign up.
Okay.
Got it.
Any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. Then item 4E, reimbursements to organizations.
Currently, all we have for reimbursements is deposit refunds. We have 4 of those going to the community members that had put in their deposits, and then we gave it back after it was done.
And I assume that means that they took good care of the facilities while they were there, since they're getting their deposits back. So that's nice to see. All right, we'll move on to item 5, information and discussion items. Item A, water fill stations, staff report.
Okay, so I'm going to take this, and we have some lovely pictures of some of our staff. I mentioned this at our last meeting, but since our last meeting, we have completed the project, and I just want to kind of give an update and an ask about water fill stations. So this is one of our maintenance guys. He installed the water fill station. The unit cost $1,176. And then the electrical cost is $776. So in total, we were into it about $2,000. The plumbing, demo, and install was all done by our staff. So there's the picture of the unit, and looks great. This is probably the unit we're going to use moving forward. It's filtered water. It's not cooled water. When we first started doing this, if you recall, I got some quotes, and the quotes for the chilled water were outrageous compared to just filtered water, which I think is fine. It's doable. Anyway, we have a water fill station planned for Wickland and for Bethany as well in queue. One of the things I would like to do is come back with a proposal at our next meeting to purchase 6 units that we'll have in the warehouse. And as our maintenance team has time to install, we install them as we have time. And what I mean by that is we don't have something more pressing like a leaky roof or a door that's broken or whatever the case may be in place of installing a water fill station. I think it would be a legitimate use of facilities use fees to pay for those units. They will be available to people using our facilities after hours, as well as to our students. So I'd like to come back with a full quote to the committee at the next meeting and get approval, have a discussion about it, and then potentially take it to the board for approval, if everybody's okay with that.
See, not a lot of nodding heads. I think there's consensus.
We've been working on the water fill station. I don't know. Mr. Palmo brought it up. I don't know how long ago. It's been a task.
And I like the idea of having them on hand so that when we do have time, when staff has time, they can do it rather than ordering one and waiting for it to come in. And by the time it comes in, they no longer have time to work on it.
And hopefully we'll also see that means we save money in the long run, because prices usually only go up. So.
Yes.
I have a couple questions on this water fill station. So how many do we plan to have at each school site?
At the moment, it's only the older schools, so
Okay.
Wickland, Bethany, Cuesta, and the high school that don't have the water fill stations. And we've projected 2 at Wickland. When you enter Wickland and go down the main hall out to the playground, there's water faucets on each side that are old. We're going to replace both of those first.
Okay.
And then at Cuesta, there are 3 locations. Cuesta is designed much differently, right? Because it's laid out with a
huge,
much bigger square. So we were planning on 3 at Cuesta. And then at the high school, we're going to start with 3 and go from there, figure it out from there.
Okay. And so when will the water filter be changed for these? I mean, like, is that in plan or will it be checked?
The manufacturer suggests when the water filters get replaced. What we'll do is his department will buy a bunch of the water filters. It'll be a part of the custodial assignment to check the water fill stations and change the filter out.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No.
All right. We'll move on to item 5B, groups with excessive late payments. Staff report.
So currently, we have no groups with late payments, and of course, we did just start, so that might change. But the groups that give us trouble last time hasn't been late since we gave them the warning letter. So that was something we discussed in the last meeting about warning letters and then possible, fines or something. But we haven't had an issue with that with them since then. So we're going to stay on top of that and go forward with any other group if we have any issues, kind of the same way.
Okay. So it sounds like the warning letter's doing what we hoped it would do.
So
That's
far,
good.
yes, ma'am.
All right. Item 5C, cost of field recovery. Staff report.
So I just wanted to give an update on cost of field, which we talked about previously. Just a little background, the cost of field had some challenges after its first season of growth. We brought the 7 people out from the group that put the grass in, the contractors, as well as the grass expert that came and looked at the grass and tried to define what our problem was. He indicated that the grass went dormant and that he said that it would recover by this coming spring. So since that time, we've had the water on and off depending on the season. We turned the water on in January because it was such a dry January. And then at the end of the month when it started raining, we've turned the water off because of the rain right now. And then in March during spring break, we're going to reseed again. We reseeded in November. Wait, let me look. We reseeded in late October. And then during spring break, we're going to reseed and fertilize again at Costa so that hopefully the spring we have the original seed wake up and come back, have some new seed to fill in the gaps. Right now, when you walk the field, you can see that the crowns have some pretty good grass growth, but the hills do not, or the downhills do not. The other thing we've done is we've sprayed for broadleaf. There's a lot of broadleaf out there, a lot of weeds out there that took over when the grass went dormant. We're going to do another spray of broadleaf in the coming weeks. And then, like I said, they're going to seed and fertilize, and we're going to have Jensen do that during spring break when none of the kids are there. The other thing I want to mention, speaking of Jensen, who is our grounds contractor, their contract is up, so we've put an RFP out for other companies and Jensen and for other bidders to come and bid our project, and that should close at the end of February, and we should have a decision made in March coming to the board, hopefully the second meeting in March, maybe the first meeting in April, for the company that has the best bid. That is it for the cost of field recovery.
Any comments or questions?
No questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Then we'll move on to item 6, future agenda topics and meeting dates. Item A, future agenda topics. Do we have any from staff?
Well, I'm going to bring back water fill stations again. It seems to be an ongoing item, but I think we have a much better handle on it now than we did previously, considering that I think you may recall the quote I got for the first time was $6,000 per station. We got it down to $2,000 per station with our guys learning how to install it and do all the work. So I know it took us a little time, but it saved us $4,000 per station. I think that's pretty good. So I think I should bring that back and give you an update where we are, and bring the quote and see what everybody thinks about bringing it to the board. So.
Okay. Do you have anything, Director Dixon?
I don't. She wanted me to pass you that. I don't have anything to add to that.
Okay. Anything for the rest of the committee members that they can think of at this time?
Can't think of anything right now.
And of course, if something comes up, we can always bring it to the attention of the committee, and they can bring that up to the agenda. So item B, 2024-2025 meeting dates. And we have for sure a scheduled meeting date on May 8th, 2025, and we have marked March 13th if needed. And at this time, does it look like we need that March meeting?
It'll only be if somebody brings something pretty major forward that we need to address, and if that happens, I will send a group message to everybody and get consensus.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Yep. All right. Then if there is nothing else, then we will adjourn. Oh,
Do you have?
Yes, I screwed up on my end. I should talk to the public. I thought it was me.
oh, come on. Come right up to the microphone. Yeah.
Hello. I was just here in regards to like the multipurpose rooms, rentals after hours. I'm a part of a basketball girls traveling club, and we do travel basketball. So we try to practice 3 to 4 times a week. We just noticed that it went from like a first come first serve rental system to a tier system. I just want to get some clarification on that and why it changed out. Thing is, trying to get the courts, the tier ones and ones usually get everything all the way, and then we're kind of have to go into Lathrop and Tracy, and we're here in Mountain House, all of us. So it just.
Would you like me to explain?
Yes, please. If you want to explain it. I would just like to point out the tier 1 will always have priority because those are the organizations for our students.
Okay.
And they are the priority.
Rather than tier 1, 2, 3, and there's other after hours. There's other basketball clubs that are basically hogging the courts, and we have to go 30-40 minutes away just to practice. And then, if we do get at court, it's the janitor's oh, finally somebody showed up. So it's that was just mine.
One thing I would suggest to you is that we are the school district, and our main priority, our main responsibility is our students, clearly. But the city now of Mountain House does have a community rec department, and I would encourage you and anybody else that is lacking facilities that you desire to go to the city council meetings and say, hey, can't you guys build us something? We need more facilities out here.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that same thing because the after hours, school gets out at 3, but I know that the middle school basketball teams have their practices, and so there's 4 teams at each of those school sites, and so that's where a lot of the time is taken. And like Mr. Pombo said, that's the priority because that's a school related activity. So we're kind of growing so big as a school district that our facilities are being absorbed by school activities, and the city is currently planning what they wanted, what the community needs. And I've heard a lot of people say basketball is
Yeah.
something that they want. We're not even able to really have a basketball league in town because there's no facilities. So I would encourage you to go to their meetings. I think their next meeting is next Wednesday, and
Okay.
connect with the recreation department director.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you were here for I think you were here. I'm not sure if you saw the usage report, but the vast majority of our multi-use room usage is our students.
Yeah. It just, my whole thing is like the after hours, like after like 6:30 or so, it's, trying to get a court or something like that. It's just, I see that there's like 2 or 3 different clubs that are tiers above us that are like taking more up. But no, I understand, as in going to the rec side and trying to go that way. That's fine. All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we will adjourn the meeting of the Facilities Committee at 6:50 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.